Good morning, everyone. This is Todd Land of the Southland Conference. This is Commissioner and the moderator. Thanks for joining the Week 7 Coaches Conference call with the media. The weekly release of the Southland Conference is available on our website, southland.org. We are also streaming this call on Southland Digital Network, including mobile and tablet apps for iPhone and Android, as well as on southland.org. The call is being recorded. It will be available for playback later today on the Southland Digital Network. I want to go over a few guidelines for today's call. We do restrict the call to official news gathering, media members only. The general public, including fans and fan websites, are prohibited from participating during the live call. We ask that you do not place the call on hold or use the speakerphone function at any time while on the call. We have muted all phone lines. But prior to a speaking role or asking a question, you may press *6 to unmute your line. Same command to mute your line after you've asked a question. Media, prior to asking a question, we ask that you identify yourself by name and media organization, and then any violation of these guidelines may lead to immediate disconnection of the call. I want to go over last week's results. We only had a couple of games in the Southland. McNeese State beat Central Arkansas in Conway 59-28. Southeastern Louisiana beat Incarnate 35-3. We have 4 games in the conference this week, including Lamar at Houston State for the Bearcats' homecoming game. That is at 2 o'clock. The 3 o'clock game on the Southland Conference Television Network is Northwestern State at Nicholls. And then Central Arkansas plays host to Nebraska Kearney at 4. And Stephen F. Austin visits Southeastern Louisiana at 7 p.m. on ESPN3. Also, one other television opportunity between a pair of future Southland Conference schools. CSN Houston will have Abilene at Houston Baptist. That is at BVA Compass Stadium in Houston. That game will kick off at 7:30. I'm going to go over the polls this week. 2 primary polls, Sports Network and the Coaches Poll. Sam Houston is number 2 in the Sports Network poll and number 3 in the Coaches Poll. McNeese is number 9 in the Sports Network poll and number 11 in the Coaches Poll. And Central Arkansas is number 20 in Sports Network and 20 in the Coaches Poll. Southeastern Louisiana is receiving votes. In the Sports Network poll, Stephen F. Austin is receiving 1 vote in the Coaches Poll. Players of the week last week, swept by McNeese State after its 59-28 win at Central Arkansas. The offensive player of the week, Marcus Wiltz. He ran for a career-high 181 yards on 17 carries, had a touchdown. He averaged 10.6 yards per carry. It was his third 100-yard rushing game this season and the 8th of his career. Defensive player of the week, Ryan Bronson from McNeese. He set a school record with a 98-yard interception return for a touchdown that helped ignite McNeese to a 35-point second quarter at Central Arkansas. We also had 8 tackles and 2 pass breakups in the contest. The special teams player of the week, Ryan Rome from McNeese. He connected all 8 of his PATs against Central Arkansas and hit his only field goal try of the game from 39 yards. I want to draw everyone's attention to the Southland Conference's 50th anniversary all-time team. We sent a release out last Thursday. Many media members have received the ballot. For this, we're also encouraging fan vote. And this interactive voting is presented by Mid-South Bank. Southland is picking its all-time football team. It will be announced in November. And each week, fans have the opportunity to vote on the ballot by position. Currently, quarterbacks, and then beginning Thursday, move on to running backs, and then a different position each week before the announcement of the all-time team November 23rd during the Southland TV broadcast. Voting is ongoing at the Southland Conference Facebook page. That's facebook.com/Southland Conference. We'll now move on to the coaches portion of the call today. Coach Conque, are you with us?
I'm here, Todd.
All right, joined now by Clint Conque, the head coach of Central Arkansas. Last week, the Bears lost 59-28 to McNeese State. And this week, they play host to Nebraska Kearney at 4 p.m. on Saturday. Central Arkansas is 2-3 overall and 0-1 in the conference. Coach, talk about the game last week, and then as you move on, step back out of conference play this week against UNK.
Sure. I want to first congratulate Matt Viator and his coaching staff and his football team. They had their team very well prepared. It's a very, very good football team. We ran into a buzzsaw. We certainly didn't play very well. That's an obvious statement. Turnovers were very critical, and McNeese capitalized on all three of our turnovers. With that said, I thought defensively it might have been one of our poorest efforts as far as tackling and assignments. And I think McNeese State had a lot to do with that. But at the end of the day, it was a train wreck defensively. And it was a very good offensive football team. They certainly didn't need any help, and we provided quite a bit of help for them. But, very good team, very well coached, very disciplined. And I want to congratulate Matt. They came in here and created a train wreck, that's for sure. With that said, we move on. And the great thing about football season is you got to put that one behind us. We certainly need to learn some lessons from that beatdown. And we move on. We've got another home game this week against an opponent from the MIAA and Nebraska Kearney. And, the focus is on our team and trying to block a little better, tackle a little better, kick a little better, and value the football. And this gives us a chance to do that out of conference before we jump back in with 6 straight conference games.
All right, we'll go ahead and open it up for questions now for Clint Conque, the head coach of Central Arkansas. Media, you may need to press *6 to unmute your phone line, and we do ask that you identify yourself by both name and affiliation.
Can't imagine there'd be too many questions.
Yes, this is Buck Mahoney from the Kearney Hub newspaper in Kearney, Nebraska. Coach, how are you going about preparing for a team that passed 51 times 3 weeks ago, but only 4 times this last week?
Well, we're chasing a few ghosts. And again, I know that this past week they changed their offense a little bit. It looks like their quarterback may be out. Maybe one of their running backs. I'm not sure. Don't know a lot about the team we're fixing to play, other than they're a very big, physical football team. And remind me a lot of South Dakota State, South Dakota, at least physically, teams that we've played from the Midwest over the years. But yeah, I mean, big physical offensive line, and they were ground and pound this last week. And, so yeah, we're chasing a few ghosts. And, but at the end of the day, we've got to master our assignments a little bit better. We've got to tackle better and play a little bit more consistent, regardless of what the opponent's scheme is. We've got to get lined up and play assignment football and tackle better. And we certainly did not do that this past Saturday.
Other questions for Coach Conque? Coach, what kind of challenge, I guess, do you have in stepping out of conference play after conference has started, and what opportunities does that give you moving forward?
Well, it gives us a chance to get better in practice this week, Todd. And, we certainly made some subtle changes offensively. That there were some positives that I did see, particularly on the offensive side of the football. We put up some yards and moved the football and ran the ball a little bit better, but our red zone efficiency wasn't very good. So we've got some things to work on there. But I guess to specifically answer your question is, we take the positives and build on them this week, and we've addressed some things that must improve if we're going to be a competitive team in our league, and this gives us a chance, to work on those things against a non-conference opponent before we get back into conference play.
Other questions for Coach Conque today? All right. Coach, appreciate your time today. Thank you very much.
Hey, you bet. Thanks.
Yeah. Coach Stubbs, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
All right. Joined now by Charlie Stubbs, the head coach at Nicholls State. Last week, the Colonels had an open date, and this week returned home, or stay at home, played host to Northwestern State. That game is Saturday at 3 p.m. on the Southland television network. The Colonels are 3-2 overall heading into conference play. Coach, talk about where you are and what you're expecting from the conference opener.
Well, first of all, the bye week couldn't come at a better time for us. Just like all teams, you suffer those injuries, and we were able to get healthy a little bit. And hopefully, we'll have a few more guys back to be able to open up conference play and have a few more veterans returning to it. We were able to also work on our fundamentals. That's key to everything, and so we stressed that during our bye week, and then also got a chance to work with those players that right now at this point are being redshirted or just not quite, able to get significant playing time in games. So we're able to do that. So we accomplished quite a bit, and then of course got on the road recruiting. So, and then now it's we've had our basic non-conference schedule, and I feel like we've learned a lot. We've had in the 3 victories that we did have thus far, all of the games we faced adversity throughout those games, and I like the way we handled it. In the past, we haven't handled it very well. I mean, in the way of losing momentum and then regaining it back. And so far this year, we've been able to do that on occasion, and that's a good sign. But we know that it all gets revved up more now in conference play, and we're excited to open up at home. And then, of course, being the conference TV game, that's a great opportunity to showcase the program in the conference, and then also helps us in recruiting. So again, we know that Northwestern, we've always had very good games since I've been here with them, very competitive games, and I know it's going to be one of those on Saturday. So we're excited about the games coming ahead.
All right, we'll go ahead and open up for question now for Charlie Stubbs, the head coach of Nicholls State. Media name, you may need to press start to unmute your phone.
Hey, Coach, it's Teddy from the Common and Typical. How you doing this morning?
Doing fine, Teddy.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned you learned some things about your team, facing adversity. Well, what is like one thing you had no inkling of, I guess, that you really did learn about this team that you hopefully could turn into a real big positive for you going, forward into conference play?
Well, first of all, the thing that they're learning the most is that there's 3 phases to the game and your team, and in some of the games we've had all 3 phases step up in key points. And in fact, the last game, our defense against the run has not been good, but we were able to hold our opponent out of the end zone near the end, and then forcing them to make a field goal attempt, and we blocked that attempt, and then the offense got the ball and in 2 plays drove it down for a score that kind of sealed the game. And what I try to preach here, for us to be successful at Nicholls, we've got to be solid in all 3 phases. We're not dominant in any phase of the game, but it is a team game, and I think that those are the things that you do all the coach talk, and you try to cover everything with the guys and talk to them about philosophy and all that, but when they can really see it play out, it really validates. And so these first 5 games, there's going to be things that have happened in those games that I really know are going to be something I can refer to in the conference games ahead, because I know for us to be successful and win games in this conference, most of the games are going to be fourth quarter wins, just right at the last few minutes of the game, because that's how competitive it is here.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Other questions for Coach Stubbs? Coach, you have to be pleased at where you are, having 3 wins heading into conference play, and I guess now you're focused on getting the third consecutive win, which I don't believe has been done at Nicholls since the 2007 season. But talk about how pleased you are with the start that you've had.
Well, I mean, I'm pleased just to see some smiling faces around here. And again, we're sure not patting ourselves on the back, but it does help with morale. Everybody knows that. In my career, I've been fortunate to win a lot of games, and I just know how the practices are more efficient. One thing about it, when you win games, you can be highly critical, in evaluating your players, because they'll receive it very well, because they always want to get better. What's happened sometimes is when you lose, you have to be very careful, because you can almost make it worse or knock the confidence right out of them, what little they did have. So, it's good. We have a lot of interest in the community, and that's what we need to have here, where it's like we'd sure like our stadium, Guidry Stadium, to be where we have that 12th man mentality, where we can make it hard on our opponent to come in here and secure a win, and that's what we're striving for. And it's like I say right now, we just need to take it the next step and just take it 1 week at a time. And we realistically know we haven't arrived at all, but I do know that we can be a tough and very competitive football team if we play well in all phases.
Other questions for Coach Stubbs and Nicholls? Coach, your team's been running the ball well. Obviously, last week, your game game against Arkansas had 359 yards on the ground, a bulk of that coming from the quarterback. Talk about building on that, or maybe the second part of that. What things do you need to work on getting ready?
Well, first of all, the one blessing we've had in those other games, I've played 4 quarterbacks thus far, and I don't think too many teams have gone that far down. But we did some good things in running the football. But I really believe, maybe I'm an old school coach, I just believe you definitely got to run the football. There's different styles of running it, and then also you got to be able to stop the run, and that's what's been the biggest struggle for us at Nicholls this year. We've got a good secondary, I really believe, but they're not getting tested near as much because, again, people have been able to run it. So we've got to shore up that, and we're working on it. Some of it, we got young guys playing, but they're all we have, so we just got to coach them up and get better. But all in all, I've got my young quarterback, or not young one, but Kalen Henderson, who was playing very well early in the season against Oregon and Western Michigan. He broke his fibula early, but he's back practicing now. He isn't quite ready yet, but that's a good shot in the arm, too. And as you mentioned, Conque ran the ball very well last week. And again, he's making progress, and I want him to be a well-rounded quarterback, one that can throw it equally well. And then, of course, Bo Abear, who's coming off the concussion and some bumps and bruises, so going from there. But there's a lot of work for us to do, but I do like running the football, and I do want to be a balanced offense as much as possible. And I do, know that we're headed in a positive direction, but we just got to stay healthy.
Anything else for Coach Stubbs? All right, Coach. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ron, are you on call? Coach Roberts?
Yes, sir.
All right. Joined now by Ron Roberts, head coach of Southeastern Louisiana. Last week, the Lions beat Incarnate Word 35-3, and this week play host Stephen F. Austin. That game is Saturday at 7 p.m. on ESPN3. Southeastern Louisiana is 3-2 overall, heading in to conference play this week against the Lumberjacks. Coach, talk about your win last week and what you're expecting in this conference.
I thought, last week we came out a little rusty. Ball on the ground twice early, and we dropped some passes and dropped some big plays, opportunities. But overall, I think we
missed the previous games. It was been on 3 weeks ago. It's a little timing off on some things. We missed some plays, but we played exceptionally hard. I was real pleased defensively. I thought it was our best run defensive performance yet. I know we played really well just run last 2 opportunities out. So I thought we were real physical up on defense side of the ball. We did a great job of getting off the block and understanding our responsibilities and assignments. I felt good about our special team. I thought we did a good job there. But this is what's all, everything comes down to. This is what you do it for. We're going in conference play. I think we've got a very good football team, but we've made our share of mistakes. It's time for us to, we're going to have to play well because obviously playing team at Boston, they got an unbelievable explosive offense, put up ungodly numbers. And, we know what they're capable of doing. You've seen on film, they're a great offensive ball club. We've got to, we're going to have to play assignment football. We're going to have to take care of our jobs. And we're going to really not about stop them as much by slowing them down and trying to limit big play and kind of limit their offensive scoring opportunities. I don't know if we can just shut them down. I don't know if we're doing that, but they're not just throwing, but they got, great back. They have 120 yards a game. They're just out there putting up those numbers like, say in the video game. They scored, 800-something yards on offense the last time they were out. So they got our guys' attention definitely, and we're looking forward to having the opportunity to play here at home in Strawberry Stadium. We had a great atmosphere last time out, and I believe that obviously we'll be pushing right now to the drive. We're in three, and I think we'll have a great home field advantage here.
All right, we'll go ahead and open it up for questions right now for Ron Roberts, the head coach of Southeastern Louisiana. Coach, you're talking about Stephen F. Austin's offensive numbers and having to stop that. How do you plan to go about stopping it?
Well, I mean, it's really about just making sure we're making, right decisions, communication in the back end. The pressure is so good getting rid of the ball. Get rid of the ball, coming on the rhythm of time, getting it out, running one back all year long. So stuff to get there on it. It's just a real quality quarterback. So what we're going to have to really do is really about eliminating the yards after the catch and make sure they don't catch it and turn an 8-yard gain into a 20-yard gain, turn a 15 into a touchdown. I think it's real come down on secondary about their ability to tackle in space, making sure we make contested throws, making sure the ball tight windows, and just be there to get them down and limit the yards after the catch. Make them have to work and get the ball in and don't make them turn into 8, 10-play drives to get in there and make them execute.
Questions for Ron Roberts at Southeastern?
Yeah, Coach, this is Alex speaking like Charles. I'm wondering, you guys have been the past couple of weeks or on the cusp of breaking into the top 25 in terms of receiving votes. Do you think this is the type of game that can get you in that group if you win it, considering SFA has that win over Montana State? That's a pretty big accomplishment. Yeah. So, they definitely do. I mean, they can beat anybody in the country on any given day. I think that by Southland Conference nature alone, in our conference, that if you win ball games, that you're going to put yourself in position to get top 25 just by the nature of the respect that our conference has. So what we've just got to do is we've got to go get some conference wins, and I think all that stuff, the ranking things will take care of itself. All right.
Good questions for Ron Roberts at Southeastern. Coach, obviously, you mentioned your defense being a key to this game Saturday, coming off of a game where it only allowed 284 total yards and reported 4 sacks. Talk about how your defense is coming along.
I really like them. I really like them. I think we had 3 players who really had some breakout games. That was the first game we saw Isaiah Corbett really stepping into his own and be the kind of player he can be. I think he's a special player outside my background. Jacob Newman had a great game as defensive lineman. He got 3 sacks on the year. But he got a bunch of hurries and pressures and just very consistent. Hugh Hubert is our linebacker. He was sideline to sideline, making a lot of plays. Our goal is really to get it a little. We have the number one defense in the conference. I mean, that's the objective, And I think we've shown glimpses at times. We haven't been consistent. We got to come out here and accomplish play. We really got to answer the bell. There's what we expect on the defense side of the ball. We played a lot of kids in the 5 preseason games, and we're playing on average by 25 players. They're split time on the defense side of the ball. So we're playing a lot of players that allow them to play. What we really saw last week was the first time we saw play tempo and the effort level that we really wanted to play at. And I think we got an opportunity to be special. We got to be more consistent. We got to quit giving up this broken play. And that's usually due to communication, making sure we're taking care of our jobs and our assignments. So we can do that. I think we have. I think we've got the people over there to help one of the best people in the conference.
Any other questions for Ron Roberts, Southeastern Louisiana? All right, Coach, appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right, okay, thank you.
Jay, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
All right, joined now by Jay Thomas, the head coach of Northwestern State. Northwestern State is coming off an open day and heads down to play Nicholls Saturday at 3 p.m. on the South Digital Network. Northwestern is 3-2 in non-conference play heading into the opener Saturday. Coach, talk about maybe how you spent the open date and what you're expecting in your trip back to Nicholls.
Well, I'll tell you what, try to utilize the open date as best as we could. Obviously, like a lot of other folks, the opportunity to get some guys that were nicked up, get them back to nearly 100% this week, and we took advantage of that area. And then, of course, continue to work with our developmental guys that we know we're going to have to lean on as we go through conference play. Continue with our fundamentals, and then we got out and got a chance to get on the road recruiting. So that was good. Get out and about and be seen. So, all in all, it was a good week. Good week of practice, good week of focus. So I feel like our guys are in a good place at this point in time, and looking forward to opening up conference play this week at Nicholls. Facing Nicholls, very well-coached football team in all 3 areas, and got to go on the road to open it up. And going down there, we know it's always a tough place to go and play. But I think our guys are looking forward to the challenge.
All right, we'll go ahead and open up the questions now. For Jay Thomas, the head coach of Northwestern State, media name of Star 6, and under the phone line, we ask you to identify yourself by name and affiliation.
Hey, Coach, this is Matt Viator with the Shreveport Times.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, you doing all right?
Doing good. Sitting here with Coach Black. We're doing good.
Talk about some of the things you accomplished during the bye week. I know you said that you wanted to work on the kicking game. Any other areas that you really felt like you accomplished what you wanted to?
Yep, we really wanted to really focus on the defensive end, particularly defending the pass, and continue to really stress in that area. And then of course we always work on defending the run, but those two areas primarily defending the pass and getting a little bit better on that end. And we've seen improvements there. We've got to continue to do that. The kicking game was a big emphasis for us last week, and saw our team improve. Look forward to seeing them continue to improve as we go into this week and then the week ahead. But offensively, it's always the timing issue. Open dates can be good in a lot of regards. Sometimes it can be a negative for you. Offensively, keeping your timing up, keeping your rhythm up, those types of things. But felt like we got better in the things that we're trying to get done in the area of the game.
And then going back down to Thibodeau, obviously you've been back down as a position coach in Northwestern. What are the emotions? What are the is it easier the second time or anything like that?
Well, it is. Like you mentioned before, I've been back as an assistant back down there, so I've got a lot of fond memories of being in Nicholls and the things that we were able to accomplish during the time that we were there, and bringing it to a period of time that when the program was down, we were able to bring it through that period, and then also winning the conference championship along the way, and really had great memories of all the players that came through, and also all the coaches did a tremendous job while we were there during that time. We still got great friends down there, and a lot of folks that really supported the program. I know they still support the program there. But, it's not going. It's a business trip. It's conference play. It's the first game of conference, and it's not about one coach, one player. We all in this thing together.
Thanks, Coach. Other questions for Coach Thomas from Northwestern State?
Hey, Coach, it's Teddy from the Common in Thibodeau. How you doing, buddy?
Good, Teddy. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fine, Coach. Coach, you talked about working on your defense. Offense has been kind of the strength for Nicholls this year. In the games they've won, their offense has really, been well, putting up some numbers and stuff. And particularly behind their offensive line. Can you talk, being an OD line coach and stuff like that, talk about what you see with their offensive line and how much improvement it's been since the last few years?
I'll tell you what, very well impressed by what they're doing on offensive line. Is really playing well across the board. And, I'll tell you what, Coach Stubbs does a great job with his team. And, I know that, quarterbacks have had to switch quarterbacks around a great deal. But, hey, he does a fantastic job of rolling personnel, giving you different looks. There's a lot of motions, a lot of shifts in the offense. So, defensively, we just, we got to have our eyes in the right place. And, really have really good skilled receivers, like what the quarterbacks are playing. You got Marcus and Hilliard in the backfield, both running the football really well. So it stretches you both ways, and obviously being able to hit you with the deep balls as well. So you got to be able to defend the whole field, and it's going to be a big challenge for us defensively. There's no doubt about it.
And just to follow up, their run defense has struggled really, a lot this year. Obviously, you put together a game plan, you look at their weaknesses and stuff. Are you too concerned? Y'all been pretty balanced this year. Are you trying to not be run heavy, I guess, in your game plan? Or are you still trying to remain balanced? So when you see that run defense, obviously you can exploit some things in there. You kind of look heavy a little bit this week.
But you got to look at who everybody plays. And obviously you got to look at their schedule, and they had some really tough opponents there, in their stretch in the first three games. So, a lot of that has to do with that type of stuff. So, watching them in the last couple of weeks, you can see that the run defense is really beginning to come around for them. Very impressed with what Coach Atwell has done with the defense. Very well coached on that side. They fly to the ball, play with a lot of passion, and do a good job of tackling and covering folks. I think it just goes back to those preseason games, and I think the first three games at Division I opponents. I think that has a lot to do with it as well.
All right, Coach. Thank you, bud.
Thank you, Matt.
Anything else for Coach Thomas at Northwestern? All right, Coach. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Matt, are you with us?
I am.
All right, joined now by McNeese State head coach Matt Viator. The Cowboys are coming off a 59-28 win at Central Arkansas last Saturday, and this week have an open date. Coach, talk about that win and how important it was to start off with the win, especially on the road and defending conference.
Well, yeah, it's very important. It was a really good win for us, and you said it. To win on the road in this league, it's always difficult, and to win in Conway is something we've never done. So, and that's a credit to what Coach Conque has done up there. It's a tough place to play. Number one, you're playing a really good football team, and number two, you're playing in a really good environment. So, we're excited to win. Really proud of our kids, coming off of a tough game and a flight to Northern Iowa and then busing to Conway and, finding a way to get it done. So, it's exciting for us. We're also excited about the open week. I think anytime, you go basically what we have, 10 straight weeks, 4 days August camp, and then six games. It's nice to have a little time off. I think it's sorely needed. Try to get our legs back a little bit and get a little healthier heading into the conference stretch. So that's what we're going to use it for. I heard Coach Thomas talking, and it's kind of the same thing. We're going to do a lot of recruiting and do some work on some things for a couple of days that we need to improve on, and hopefully come back next week refreshed and ready to go.
All right, we'll go ahead and open up for questions now. Matt Viator, the head coach of McNeese State. Coach, how did you keep your team focused last week, coming off such a big loss, and then do what you did last week?
Yeah, I don't know really, to be honest with you. We just went back to work and like we always do, and had a business as usual week. But I think the kids came back with a really good attitude towards it. I think we certainly learned some things from the Northern Iowa game. I think also after this last Saturday, we learned that they got a pretty good football team. To be able to go to North Dakota State and be up by 13 points going to the fourth quarter. They did lose by 1 point, but that's tough to do to go to Fargo. So, we knew they were a good team, and we knew we didn't play our best. And, and I think the kids understood that, Todd, and, tried to get better last week than we did.
Questions for Coach Viator.
Coach, this is Dave McCollum from Conway, and just wanted to ask you, is this how kind of football is nowadays, or whatever? You had a game where everything most things went wrong just going now, and then you executed a game plan very well against Central Arkansas. Is that kind of what you have to have your players focus on? There's going to be ups and downs, and whoever adjusts those is probably going to come out on top.
I think so. I think the first thing that I think we all focus on is just trying to get our team to play our best, and I think that's what's most disappointing when you don't. And so that was the main focus, just trying to get back to playing the way that we think we can play. We still made some mistakes in the game, obviously. 2 turnovers, should have been 3. UCA had 3 or 4 opportunities to jump on one of them and kind of battled each other for it. But we certainly had those 3 fumbles that were 2 of them were costly, and the third one certainly could have been. So it wasn't a perfect game by any stretch, but thought we executed better. But sure, I think that's the key every week. You got to play your best and then hope. And but the main thing is that you go in there and you play the best that you can play and execute what you're doing. And then when you play the teams like we're playing right now, like UCA or any of the other good teams, you still got to hope, because if they play their best too. And it was a different UCA game, Dave, I thought, from what we've had in years past. Obviously, they've been lower scoring than what this one was. And this one just seemed like, I don't know, it was a crazy game. Crazy weather day too, wasn't it? And kind of how the weather was, and I don't know, it just ended up being a lot of scoring this year. But that's the first time really in years that it's been like that. When our games with UCA.
Probably, particularly the second quarter, was about the wildest one and the highest scored one in some games like this. So.
Yeah, and it was, and it just kind of happened that way. And several years ago, we were at UCA. We fumbled the ball going in, and UCA ran it back, 90-something 100 yards for a touchdown, and kind of swung the momentum. And this time it was us on the interception. So it just seemed like the last 2 times we've been up there, both the games have swung on a big defensive play when the other team had the momentum, and that's what happened Saturday.
Any other questions for Matt Viator?
Yeah, Matt, this is Alex.
Yeah.
What do you think explains the offensive production this year? It's basically the same cast of guys as last season, averaging so many more points per
I don't know. Our offense. We have some new offensive linemen this year and a new tight end for sure. And but some of the other guys are obviously back. But yeah, I don't know. It's a tough question. I think what we're trying to do is have the ability to run into it, and which we didn't against Northern Iowa. But hopefully we can continue to have some balance. I think if you do, then you have a chance in the game, because in the league, I mean, the teams are so good and so well coached. I mean, if anybody can take away one of them if they want to, and you have to have the ability to do both. And certainly that's what we're trying to do. And most of the games this year we've been successful. But I think that's the key, though, Alex, for us is we have to have some balance. And the other thing that I think we've done a better job of this year is staying ahead of the chains, so to speak. We're not having negative plays and things like that where we're getting, even we're in third downs, we're in very manageable third downs for Cody, and we're able to minimize those third and long type situations that we've had the last couple of years.
Any other questions for Matt Viator? All right, Coach, thank you.
Thanks.
Ray, are you with us?
I'm here.
All right, joined now by Ray Woodard, head coach at Lamar. The Cardinals had an open date last week and returned this week playing at Untitled State Saturday at 2 p.m. The Cardinals are 3-2 on the season heading into conference play. Coach, talk about your open date, what the team, you and your team accomplished, and then talk about preparations to take on Untitled State in the conference.
Well, I thought the opening day came at a good time after our 5 non-conference games and prior to starting the tough conference schedule. It gave us an opportunity to kind of look at where we are and what we need to do. And after playing 5 games, we're a little mixed up and beat up a little bit. It gave us an opportunity to heal up. We introduced Sam Houston to our team last week and put in some good days and more mental than physical. We didn't do a lot of banging, and I thought we were smart with the week. And now we've kind of come back, and this week's a full game week like it is for everyone else. And we kind of got our juices flowing, and we're looking forward to this opportunity.
All right, we'll go ahead and open it up for questions now for Ray Woodard, the head coach of Lamar. Media, you may need to press star 6 on your phone line, and we do ask that you identify yourself by name and the organization. Coach, you trailed and had to come back from a 16-point deficit in your last game against Grambling. Talk about how that was the confidence, potential confidence booster for your program.
Well, the first 4 ball games, I was very pleased with our progression and how we've been heading as a team. The first quarter kind of was not indicative of how we've been playing. We turned the ball over and we didn't play the way we'd been kind of progressing forward. But at that point, I thought our team did a very good job of not panicking, of trusting in one another and playing through some things. And we kind of got back to playing the way we've been playing the last 3 quarters and shut them out from there on in. And offensively, we started doing some things. And what it'll do for us, we're going to have to play some very tough football teams on the road. And from time to time on the road, things don't go the way you want them to. And we can really learn from this and draw from this. And it came out being maybe the best thing could have happened to us, because it was a very satisfying win to come back and do it the way we did it. I don't want to do that every week, but I was very proud of our players, the way they hung in there and played hard and played all the way through the game and won the game.
Other questions for Coach Woodard at Lamar?
Well, I'd like to say, too, I appreciate the Southland Conference for working with me and Coach Fritz. I think to give him the extra 5 minutes at halftime they wanted for him not to play Tim Flanders or Brian Bell or Richard Sincere this week, I thought that was a pretty good trade to give him an extra 5 minutes. So I'm glad we worked that out.
Now, Coach, talk about your offense. It was the second time this season you put up 500 yards. Again, it's got to be a confidence boost to be able to put up those kind of numbers. How do you carry that forward?
Well, the things we tried to address in the off season, things that we thought we were really not where we needed to be. The number one thing was penalties. We had a lot of pre-snap penalties last year. This year, at this point, after 5 games, we're the least penalized team in the league, only at 24 penalties in 5 games. In the turnover ratio, we were giving it up a heck of a lot more than we were getting it. Right now, we're towards the top at +4. Those two statistics right there have a lot to do with our offensive productivity. And then, our quarterback, Taylor Berry's doing a great job of running our offense, and we're just a little older and more mature, and seem to have a little more confidence than we've had in the past. And I think Coach Keck and the offensive staff have done a great job in the spring and in the camp of really putting a package together that complements our talent. I think they've done a good job of coaching what we have, and it's kind of exciting to see it come together. And I think they've done a great job, and our players have really bought into what we're doing. So it's kind of coming together, both coaches and players.
Question for Ray Woodard at Lamar.
Coach, this is Lincoln Rose with the ESPN3 coverage this year. We had mentioned on Media Day the senior class, the special group kind of taking ownership of this program that has been there since the start. Just some of the benefits you're seeing this year from having a group like that. I know you mentioned the road win, able to overcome some adversity. Any other big payoffs from having that maturity?
Well, I think that was a big part of it, like you mentioned, over Grambling. When we were very young, if we'd have gotten out 16-0, it probably would have been a long day. But we were older and more mature, and our senior class just wasn't going to allow that to happen and keep up the rest of the day. And it's I go to practice or I go to meetings and I challenge them and I tell them what we need to do. And I know that with this group, they're going to get it done. I mean, they're a very not only experienced group, they're hungry. They know this is their last opportunity. They want to go out a winner. And so we've had very enjoyable practices. Our players come and work, and it trickles down. When the older guys are in line doing what you want to do, it makes it easier for the younger guys to fall in line. So I'm very proud of them, and there's so many people here with Lamar that like to see us win. But out of all those people, I want it more for our seniors because they've been here since day one with me, and they deserve to have this opportunity, and I want to see them go out a winner.
Thank you.
Anything else for Ray Woodard at Lamar? All right, Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
Coach Fritz, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
Joined now by Willie Fritz, the head coach of Southeastern State. Their Cats are coming off an open date and return to the field Saturday for homecoming against Lamar. That game is at 2 p.m. Coach, I don't know if you were listening to Coach Woodard, but he was under the impression that to give you 5 extra minutes at halftime that you were going to have to sit Bell, Flanders, and Sears.
Well, we'll look into that. Ray is a very proud alumnus of Southeastern State University, so we do listen to our alumni.
All right. Coach, talk a little bit about how you kept the open date and then what you're expecting against the Cardinals.
Well, just the same thing that Ray said. We went out and did some recruiting. We practiced Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's kind of unusual that both teams that are getting ready to play this week had open dates. And you really had all your information already compiled and were able to start doing your preparation for this week's ball game. We practiced. We worked on Lamar. We worked on some things that we hadn't really worked on since preseason camp. Got a chance to work with some of the younger guys in our program as well, and gave the kids a weekend off. It was an awful lot of fun sitting back and watching football on Saturday. You don't get a chance to do that as a coach very often, or a player. And I came back in on Monday and started doing regular week preparation for Lamar University.
All right, we'll go ahead and open it up for questions for Willie Fritz and Houston State. Coach, having seen what happened in the opening week with McNeese going with Central Arkansas and shared a championship with you last week, how much pressure does that put on your program to start get off to a good start?
Well, I think, everybody wants to win each and every ball game. I was one of the games I had an opportunity to watch. And again, excellent job, I thought, by the, Southland Conference TV in doing that game. I thought it was very well done. And, both teams, there's a lot of big plays in the ball game for both sides. So it's exciting to watch. But I just think, each and every week you want to go on. You're not going to know until the season gets over, but I think the conference is much stronger. This is our fourth year that I've been back in the league, and it appears to be much more balanced in 2010, 11, or 12. I think there's a lot of quality teams in the Southland, and each and every week you're going to have to fight your tail off in order to win a ball game.
Questions for Willie Fritz and Conque. Coach, your team has played really well at home. That might be an understatement since you've won 18 consecutive games at Power Stadium, which is tied for the Division I lead in both subdivisions. Michigan is the other team that has won 18 consecutive home games. But talk about playing at home and what you see in your team when they play at home. Do they take great pride in that streak?
I think they do. We really haven't even talked about it. We just talked about the team getting ready to play and having great preparation that week. Having, razor shot focus each and every week, whoever we're playing, whether it's home or on the road. And I think one thing that I feel like we do a good job as coaches is, having the same structure, the same preparation each and every week. And there's not a lot of surprises with our guys. Matter of fact, if I do something different, some of the guys will ask me why we're doing something different. I'll make sure I explain that to them. But I just think it's the preparation and doing the very best you can with that preparation each and every week.
Other questions for Coach Fritz?
Coach, this is Lincoln Rose again with the ESPN3 coverage this year. Just curious if the non-conference part of your schedule, if any burning question you had was answered about your team.
Oh, as a coach, every week you don't ever seem to be satisfied. There's something that you're looking to improve upon. And, we had obviously a very difficult game with Texas A&M, and they proved to be as strong a team as we thought they were going to be. Eastern Washington is an excellent ball club, and we had some other teams, that maybe we weren't quite sure, where we were at different spots in our football program. But I think the areas that we were concerned about, I think we've improved each and every week in those different areas, and feel good about where we are right now entering conference play. But as all the coaches say on this call, and it's really not just saying it. I think all of us believe it. A tough conference. It's just a lot of quality coaches, a lot of quality players. You're looking at Lamar right now. They've got 9 of 11 of their starters on defense are seniors. The other 2 are junior and sophomore, and the one that started last year for sure as well. And offensively, they've got a bunch of guys returning also. So everybody's playing with some veteran kids right now.
Thank you. We look forward to seeing you this next weekend.
Thank you.
Anything else for Coach Fritz and you? All right, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.
Coach Harper, are you with us?
I'm here.
All right, joined now by J.C. Harper, the head coach at Stephen F. Austin. Last week, the Lumberjacks had an open date and returned to action Saturday at 7 p.m. at Southeastern Louisiana. That game will be on ESPN3. Coach, talk about how you spent your open date and what you're expecting as you begin conference play against the Lions this Saturday.
Well, we spent our open days working as usual. Really, we just had a normal
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday practice, working normal function of practice that we always do. I mean, it's just the same old here. We've never changed our preparation and what we've done for probably 5 years. And so, and then as we get ready to play our first conference game, we're really excited about that. Excited about the opportunity to play against Southeastern Louisiana. Tremendous football team. Very, very well coached. Play very hard. Very physical. They've got some great additions on their football team. You can tell Coach Roberts has done a tremendous job of recruiting. They had a tough off-conference schedule. South Dakota State, we played there before, and that's a tough place to play. Battled with them, played tremendously hard. At Stanford, Stanford's a very good football team. Won that game. Obviously, TCU is a very physical team as well, been there and played that game as well. And so they've had a very tough out-of-conference schedule, and I know opening at home for them is big in conference, and we got our work cut out for us. This is a very, very talented physical football team. In order for us to win, we're going to have to play our very best game we've played all year.
All right, we'll go ahead and open up the questions now. J.C. Harper, Nicholls. Coach, after the game that your team had against Prairie View on the 28th, what things have you been working on in practice in preparation for the conference season?
Just trying to score more. It's right now we got we find some more guys that can get in the top 50 in receiving. Right now we got 4 guys that are in the top 50 in the nation in receptions. All 4 of our starting receivers, and trying to find another running back. Right now, Gus is number 12th in the nation in rushing, and we're always working to try to find another quarterback as we continue to do what we're doing. And so Brady's number 2 right now in the country in offense. And so, in the offensive line-wise, we work on trying to find more offensive linemen, and just always trying to figure out how we can score more points, work on special teams, and do everything we can to figure out how we can score more points.
Other questions for J.C. Harper at Stephen and Boston?
Good morning, Coach. This is John Lenz at the Hammond Daily Star.
Hey, John. Good morning.
Good morning. You talked about that offense. I don't imagine there's a whole lot you can nitpick about that offense, even if coaches are paid to be grumpy about things. You guys are almost at optimum level there on where your offense has been running, the numbers you guys have been putting up.
Yeah, I'm not a grumpy person at all. I mean, no person not me is grumpy. If you're ever around me enough, you'll realize that I enjoy it. Every day I enjoy coaching. It's a lot of fun. I want a football team to have fun, and we're excited offensively. That's what we've been doing here for the last 5 years, and we've been, I think in 5 years we've averaged 38 points a game or more, and we're in the top in passing offense. I mean, that's what we want to do. I mean, we want to throw the football, and so we're excited though that we got a great running back that we can run it when we need to or when we have to or however we're going to do that. But I just feel like that in order for us to win at SFA, our niche is offense, and we got to get to where we can score. And so if we would have scored in the red zone just one more touchdown or 2 more either way against Weaver, 1 more touchdown, and against Prairie View, 1 more touchdown, we win both them games. Against Montana State, we did that. We scored in the red zone, which has typically been a problem for us, but we've gotten better, I think, and I think the reason for that is the running game.
As you match up with Southeastern's defense, you alluded to it, they've done a good job of recruiting. They're playing a lot of people, shuffling people in and out. You've got the kind of offense, play at the kind of pace that
maybe try to disrupt that. That's got to be a goal, is trying to keep some of those reserves off the field and play at a pace where it makes it more difficult to substitute.
Well, it's going to have to be that way every weekend. We're going to have to every weekend. Right, we broke it down, and obviously during the open days, and we've had 89 possessions. We're averaging 18 possessions a game. And so we're trying to figure out how we can get more possessions. And if we can get one or two more possessions, we would have a better record than we are right now. And so we're trying to figure out how we can be more offensive. And in order to do that, we got to play faster, And so we're emphasizing playing at a faster pace. And when you do that, limiting substitution helps. But the worst thing we can do offensively is go 3 and out, and that's what scares me about Southeastern is their defense is so. That's a very, very good defense, and anytime you play against a really good defense, if you go 3 and out, it really hurts. And so we got in order for us to win, we got to be good on offense.
What about your defense, though, Coach? I know when we talked at the beginning of the year, you didn't think that they would maybe struggle like they have. You've done a really good job of, ball hawking in the secondary and all that, but giving up a lot on the defensive side. What have been the problems there?
Well, you're right. We had 14 turnovers, and that's a big emphasis here is the turnovers. We had 14 turnovers, and 10 out of those 14 have been converted into touchdowns. And so, we're doing everything we can to talk about creating turnovers and getting the ball back to our offense. But, we started the year out, we had a ton of injuries in the back end. Our secondary is pretty much all freshmen. We have one guy back there that's not a freshman, and that's Trey Woodard. Other than that, everybody's freshmen. And David Nelson has been banged up. He's a returning, he's a 6-year, actually senior, and he's been banged up and not playing a whole lot. Jordan Albrecht, who was supposed to be a starter, he had a season-ending injury at the beginning of August and couldn't be done in August. And then Kevon Madison, who was our starting corner coming out of spring, he just got back last week. Was his first time playing. He got hurt on the first play of the game and the first play in practice in August 10th, and hadn't been back since then. And so, that's the way football goes sometimes. And so, on that side of the ball, we're really young on the back end. Our linebackers are getting better, but still young but athletic. And then up front, though, I don't know if we have any better. I think the 4 guys up front are really good. We're much better this time right now than we were when we played last year in Southeastern when we're healthy up front. I think that's going to be important to go against such a good running football team. And but on the offensive side of the ball, it's a different story. We got a 5th-year quarterback, a running back that's a junior that's played a lot. You got Brooks and AP and Tyler Boyd and all those guys that DJ Ward. Those are all names that have been playing for quite a long time. And so those are the guys that are going to have to step up for us.
Is that the aspect of their offense that concerns you the most, their running game?
It's physical. Every part about their football team is physical. And defensively, you got to watch your kickoff return. Their kickoff return, you better be ready because they're going to hit you in the mouth. And so I think to me, if you're physical on the kickoff return, as physical as they are, I think it just does you they're physical. And so the most important thing, the thing that impresses me the most is their physicality and obviously their quarterback play. And they got 3 great running backs, and they're all good. And so, it's a very, very talented physical football team.
Thanks, Coach. We'll see you Saturday.
Thank you.
Anything else for Coach Harper today? All right, Coach. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
All right, that will conclude the coach's portion of today's call. Definitely want to thank everybody for the participation this week. We'll have the call again next Tuesday, and every Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. Central Time. In the meantime, if there's anything that you can do that you need answered or any questions you have about the Southeastern Conference, please don't hesitate to reach out. Our weekly releases on our website and have a playback of this conference call available on the Southeastern Louisiana Network later today. Thank you.